What's going on, everybody? Dylan Napoleon with Cageside Press, joined today by professional fighter boasting a professional record of 9 wins, 3 losses, nasty Nate Ghareeb. How we doing, Nate?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to talk to you. Obviously, no stranger to an interview with me. Always appreciate the time. And like I said earlier, man, it's a cool fight coming up. Glad to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. This should be a really good fight. Really game. He's a really game opponent, so I'm really game. So it's perfect. Two
Yeah.
solid strikers, guys that don't want to back down and are gonna throw and entertain the crowd. So
Yeah. When I took a look at the fight, I kind of thought of it as like it's a classic New England fight, if you will, like two guys who have really made a name for themselves around here, guys who, the people know you guys can bang. And it was a great fight for them to put together, in my opinion. I'm sure they'll sell a lot of tickets from this fight alone. And it's like one of those real like veterans of the sport here in New England, you two going at it. So should be a very exciting fight, man. I know I'm looking forward to it. I know you are. Hopefully everyone else is because it should be it's promising if you ask me.
yeah, no, absolutely. I had reached out to Combat, so I actually reached out to Tom Pagliarulo and asked him if they could put me in contact with the Combat Zone guys. I
Uh-huh.
had fought for them since 2018. I was still an amateur,
Right.
and because I heard they had a card coming up, and they offered me him right off the bat, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, like
Yeah.
this is a great fight. We actually fought on the same card. But the only card I fought for Combat Zone as an amateur, he was on that card,
Okay.
and he was in the same like corner, so we were like warming up in the back.
Hmm.
I think, I mean, I'm going to go up to 55 for this one. I
Right.
don't really cut the weight. I just think it's better to just right now to just fight. I just need to get more wins, obviously.
Yep.
And I wasn't looking for like a bounce back fight, like an easy bounce back fight, really.
Hmm.
I know a lot of guys think that that's like the best move is like, you want to fight somebody that's somebody, you can win, get your confidence back. But I don't feel like my confidence is any less off than it was before. Like I don't feel any different based
Right.
off of the last performance. Like shit happens. This
Yeah.
is the sport I signed up to do. And so when they offered me this guy, I was like, this is perfect. You got two strikers, two guys that are heavy kickboxing, Muay Thai esque. He throws a lot of elbows and kicks and punches, and I do the same. So it's like, I mean, this is like a striker's delight for
Yeah.
the New England crowd. Coming back to New England again. I just wanted a quick turnaround with like as long as like the commission would like allow it, and
Yeah.
this just fell into my lap. So I was like, fuck yeah, we'll do it. He accepted, and obviously he's game. He comes to fight. He's had some really tough fights, and he's got a few fight of the nights. I've had a bunch of fight of the nights, and I'm just excited to get back in there, man. I just want to get back in there and continue to remind people who I am and that I'm here.
Right. Yeah, definitely. You answered a couple of my questions right there. I was going to ask you, about fighting at lightweight. It sounds like you gave me the answer. You just want to, not have to go through crazy weight cuts, be able to make this turnaround pretty quick and just get some wins. So I hear you on that 100%. I think that's smart of you. I was going to ask you how the fight came together. You answered that too. And the quick turnaround, let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, you answered that, but you said you want to get some wins, not have to go through the crazy weight cuts, the 45. How did you feel coming out of that fight? Were you like, whatever comes next, I'm ready? That you didn't want to take any time off, or what was the thoughts about getting back in there so quick?
Well, obviously, like as everybody knows, I've been fucking knocking on the door for like 2 years,
Right.
and so to have I mean, it's tough just because of like where I'm at in my life.
Right.
I thought that would have been the fight to kind of give me the push that I needed to get into the UFC,
Hmm.
and obviously it went well until it didn't. And I think like I don't know, I had a great, everything was great for that fight. I mean, even the weight cut was super easy. I hired Eric Pena, and he did a phenomenal job. Made my job super super easy.
Good to hear.
But so thank you, Eric. I don't think I ever got to give him the respect that he deserved. He did a great job, and he like I man, he just made the whole process so much easier than it's been for my entire time trying to cut to 45. But yeah, I just think there I want to fight often. So like my
Hmm.
biggest issue I think that I kind of dealt with this last fight and this whole year and since the Jair fight, I think is that like I was waiting around for 11 months for something to happen that didn't come.
Right.
And it's like
Yeah.
I had like it was almost like I did like 11 months of fight camp, fight camp because it was like you need to stay ready, you need to stay ready, you need to stay ready. This opportunity could come at any time, and it's like I'm in there fucking sparring with killers, and I'm pushing myself, and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. And I think it was just like it got to the point where it's like it was just too much for me,
Yeah.
without having, a fight that like finally came to fruition. And, obviously that one did, but it took too long and I waited too long. Like I'm a kind of guy that like needs to fight, often, like early
Yeah.
and often,
That's
not.
something. Yeah, you've told me that from the rip. Every interview, every time I see you, that's something you tell me. So I'm glad to see, win or lose, bro. Like you're going back in there, you're sticking to your mindset and holding up to what you said. That's very respectable.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like I said, these things happen. It's just part of the sport. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
this was the first time it has happened to me. I mean, I've never been knocked out in training. I've never been knocked out, like,
Hmm.
never, not
Hmm.
even in fights or nothing. And but I think like the 11 months was like it was just too much. It was like too much of a camp. It's like, oh well, we're gonna stay ready for a potential short notice. Then we're gonna prepare for Don Chanis and then do a full camp for him, and then I'll pull out of this fight because the Ultimate Fighter, and then go
Right.
right back to training, get into another camp, and go really hard to stay ready, and then that doesn't fucking work out, and then like okay, we're gonna wait around, but like you never know what's gonna happen, and then this fight comes up,
Just gotta
and
take it.
yeah, dude, that's like it's a lot,
Yeah.
it's a lot to do, and to stay ready like that, you can't. I don't think that's like it's not good for your brain, it's not good for your body, and I think that was like kind of my issue.
Yeah.
um and instead of just kind of like I said, just get a fight and stick to it. Like I I just want to fight. Like I think people forget about how important experience is. Like obviously I'm a little bit older. I'm 31 now, and I think that that's like the thing where it's like you got to be smart about this and that. You want to like be smart about your career and get yourself to where you want to go. And of course, like I want to fight in the UFC. Like I'm sick of fighting for fucking $1,500 or whatever the fuck it is. Like
Hmm.
depending on where you are, it's like I know how good I am, and I train with the best. I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and
Hmm.
I just I want obviously to get myself an opportunity, but like more importantly, like I just want to stay active. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who knows how long any of us have, but just in general with like the fight career, is like everyone says your window gets smaller and blah blah blah. Like, it's like, all right, well if that's the case, then like I'm not waiting around for anything. I'm not waiting around for opportunities. I'm gonna stay active. The best way to do that is not like kill myself to cut weight and fight at 55 and 45 and mix it up, because it's like I feel like if I cut 40, like here's my goal. Let me just tell
Hmm.
you my goal. Just tell
Hmm.
you this is what I want to do. I want to fight now. I want to fight in September. If I can, I'll fight in October or November. Like that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
I
I
want
feel
to
you.
I want to fight. I've been training, preparing. I just want to fight, dude.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like this is like the only thing that I've been really doing. Like I basically count on my fight checks or my like sponsorships to like get me through this. Like fortunately, I have my wife who's been very very helpful with this, but like I want to make my own money and I don't want to get a full-time job. Like I went back home for the last like for a month and worked back home, and like just to remind myself like how much I do not want to work a 9 to 5. I
Right
just don't
on.
want. That's not what I
Yeah.
want to do. I want to be a professional fighter. This is what I signed up to do. This is what I love to do. This like,
Yeah.
and so if I can get in there, finish this guy, I want to fight again in September.
Yeah.
I can get in there, finish another guy. I want to fight in October, November, like December. I want to
Yeah.
fight out the year as much as I can because I waited 11 months and didn't fucking fight.
Right.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Fuck that.
I like the way you're thinking here, dude. I think that's the way to do it, man, because you all that time training, you might as well fight, like you said. I know the opportunities were limited. You were looking and hoping for things that didn't happen. Do you think that now your mind is going to be a little bit more free? You're not going to be thinking about that stuff more. You're just going to whatever fight comes to, as long as obviously it makes sense for you, you're going to take the fight. You're going to, advance to the next one. Stop thinking a little bit about like, so much of a plan and just keep fighting. That kind of seems like what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I get like being smart and like being strategic, but it's not guaranteed that you're gonna, even get there. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not
Exactly.
guaranteed they're gonna call you and say, "Hey, like we want you." Like you can speculate and say, "Well, if you just do this or if you just do that, like you'll get there. You'll this." It's like,
Hmm.
dude, I was on a 3 fight win streak and I had finished 8 guys, and I'm like I'm a striker. I'm an entertainer. Like ask
Yeah.
anybody who's watched me fight. They're like, your fights are entertaining. Like it's not like I feel like I have all the things that like what the UFC's like looked for in the previous years. Like I don't know where their head was at before, or like what my reasoning for not being signed in the first place was, but
Hmm.
you know I can't wait around forever for that. Like I want to like I said, I'm 31. Like I want like part of the reason why I want to be a professional fighter in the first place was so that I could live life on my terms. And if I'm sitting there waiting for something that like isn't coming or like they're not interested or whatever, I don't really give a fuck. I just want to do what I love to do, and I love to fight. And
Yep.
so give me the opportunities as they come. And I think it's better now because it's like people are like, oh man, this guy can be finished. We can take
Right.
this fight. And that's probably what this kid thought. Cause we had tried to get a fight with him for like, previously. I don't know if it was like before the Leahy Douglas fight got
Hmm.
announced. Maybe it was like Combat FC or
Okay. Yeah.
Reality Fighting or something,
Hmm.
and no return on that because that name had been brought to me before. So I guess like I don't know, maybe they didn't think like it was a good fight at the time, and then now they're like, oh well, he just got knocked out. Like a lot of
Right.
guys, are like, oh he's probably like it's been quick, like he probably knocked out again. Like fucking try it, buddy.
Yeah.
Like you got confidence now because you think I've lost. Like he's coming off a loss, I'm coming off a loss.
Right.
Um, I don't know where his head's at. I don't really care. I just want to get in there and just continue to prove that like I'm a problem for anybody. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just been like my whole thing, and I want to fight. I want to get paid, and I want to enjoy the
Yeah.
process and not like waiting for like have a cloud over your head. Like, is this when's it gonna happen? Wait for short notice, whatever it was contender series, like the fucking Ultimate Fighter bullshit.
Yeah.
Just fucking fight, and if they call me, they call me. If they don't, well, I don't give a fuck.
I hear you. That's it, man. That's the way to do it. You gotta just keep fighting, keep proving yourself. I want to ask you, man. We've been talking about your opponent Mo Al-Kanani, six and
Yep.
three. Obviously, we talked, about a lot of things. Both of you coming off of a loss and avenging the losses. Where do you see the biggest advantages for you in this fight?
Um, well, I think like I said, I think he's a really good like he's a good striker.
Hmm.
He's aggressive and he likes to march forward. And I think like he's a guy that doesn't do well on his back foot. I think he likes to come forward a lot. Like he will throw, but he doesn't seem to, like there's some fights he's shown like some calculation when he fought Robert Wistig, like he does a good job like managing his distance and like throwing stuff. But then like when he fought Peter Barrett, it didn't seem that way. It seemed like it was just kind of like, hey, you remember that? I don't know if you know the tough man competitions.
Yeah.
Like that's what that fight was. There was like not a whole lot of skill or strategy going on. It was
Uh-huh.
like you guys meet in the middle and just like throw haymakers. And it was
Hmm.
like everyone was like, this was the best fight in New England. It's like, I mean, it was a good fight. I mean, you could probably catch that at your local bar.
Yeah.
If you like fights. And I mean, it was fun to watch, but it was
Hmm.
like it wasn't overly crafty. And I feel like he kind of starts to gas out, which is like also a benefit for me, right? Like I'm coming up a weight. I'm not going to cut the weight. I don't know how the weight cut is for him. I mean, he's a pretty decent sized guy. He's like what, 6'1",
Yeah.
pretty big. So I mean, I just think like wearing him down like I do, like that's just like always been the plan is to just wear guys down with volume and striking. And I think I'm going to be faster. My speed is definitely going to play a huge aspect of this. And I'm tricky, like it's not gonna be easy for him to like catch me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like he used to throw long looping shots and some kicks, he's good, but
Yeah.
I just think that I'm like way more well-rounded and I have a lot more craft in what I do. And I think that's going to be the thing. And it's got to be in his mind too. Like, despite what happened in my last fight, I mean, I was fucking piecing that kid up. I
Yeah.
mean, like I've always said, and there's not a single guy that I fought as an amateur, as a professional, that has ever gotten out of there without getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody is going to take damage, and the risk of stepping in the cage with me is that you're going to get hurt. And so it's just how badly are you willing to endure that
Yeah.
pain and suffering with me? Um, and I just think that I'm just going to be too much for him, to be honest with you.
Great answer, man. I'm looking forward to the fight, like I said, and you just got me a little bit more jacked up, of course. But I want to talk about this LFA fight that happened back in May. You
Mm.
talking about it just right now, piecing them up. You look great in round one. I know I told you that before, but I wanted to ask you, man, when you watched that fight back and you said it just now, you were piecing them up. Dude, I think that was the best I've ever seen you in one round. That round was just perfect in terms of what you were able to put forward. What did you, the coaches, think about that first round? Like, the second round aside, how did that first round feel and what'd you guys think of it?
I mean, everybody said like same similar thing you said is that I looked good, like it. To be honest with you, despite the result, like I feel like it was the best fight I've ever had. I mean, I felt great in there, man. Like I think this was the first fight where I could honestly say I really got to be me,
Hmm.
completely. And I just found my flow state. I found a way to like tap into that. And I, man, I don't know. He didn't even come out the way I thought. I mean, he must have felt like the presence and got scared. Because he usually takes the center and he did not. I mean, he had him on his back foot, and I was just kind of fucking with him with the stance
Yeah.
change, feints, and I was kicking him and
Coming
punching him,
forward. Yeah.
rocked him twice, I think, and
Yeah.
hit him with some elbows and some knees, and uh, I just I think, I mean, it's from what I'm to understand, speaking with my coaches, is just like these things happen. I
Yeah.
got caught. I can specifically tell you how I got caught. I know a lot of people think it was like you backed out with your hands down, but it was like there's a moment in the clinch, and this is the biggest takeaway from the fight. And the thing I've been working on to just make the adjustment is there's a part at the second round. He first 8 seconds I come out and he just kicks me straight in the dick.
Hmm.
Don't care what anybody says, purely intentional. That kick had nowhere else to go. He was clearly fucked up and had, I don't know, like even Cub Swanson, who's his coach, had mentioned it was the commentating and was like, that looked intentional. Was that intentional? Like they were like, oh well, you get one free one, but it was like it definitely fucked me up. It
Yeah.
definitely hurt. You know what
I
I mean?
believe it. Yeah.
And I didn't take enough time. I should have. That was my fault. That was one vet move that I definitely gained, was like I thought I had to keep the pressure on him. Like, so despite
Mm.
how I was
Yeah.
feeling, I was like, fuck it, just fucking go back out there. And I think I just pressed him too much.
Hmm.
But the thing that happened was he caught me in the clinch. I grabbed a single collar tie and I like kind of pulled away, and he hit me with an uppercut and then he hit me with an overhand. And I think at that point it was like at that point I was just wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And the thing that happened when I fought Damian Nelson, same thing, single collar tie. And he just fucking pulled back and hit me with a left hook and he rocked me.
Hmm.
And obviously, like, I ended up winning the fight, but I think it's a lesson where it's like I didn't pay the price in that fight. I
Hmm.
won despite the issue, the failure of technique that I had. This
Right.
fight, I did not make that adjustment.
Hmm.
And so I think it's like really, it's pretty simple. I mean, he couldn't hit me up until that point, and I think it's just the difference is like I was talking to my friend Dan. I used to train with Dan McIntyre back home, and he said, he was like, you got to remember, like when you're fighting Combat FC or you're fighting for CES, like everybody says this is a game of inches, but the inches get a little bit bigger in those promotions, or
Sure.
depending on who you're fighting. With LFA, the inches get smaller. When you get to
Sure.
the UFC, those inches get even smaller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're fighting at LFA, you're fighting the best guys around. I mean, this kid now is going to go on and fight for the interim title against another
Right.
kid that night. So, I mean, he wasn't a bum or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good fighter.
But that inch makes such a difference of where your head is in relation to the clinch. And then that's something that I didn't pay attention to before,
Yeah.
because I didn't pay the price. Now I pay the price, make the adjustment. That shit's not going to happen again. And, like that's the biggest lesson. It's not like, oh, I was like standing there with my hands down. It's like, I don't even think I was there, dude, to be honest with
Right.
you. I was
Yeah.
when he started unloading, I think my body was on autopilot because people were like, you were kicking really close to him. And I'm like, no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, you were,
Don't
yeah,
don't
exactly.
know. Yeah. So just make that like little adjustment because it's like obviously my outside defense is great. Like I don't get hit often. It's not, like when I've been hit, it's like when I'm sitting there and I'm in no man's land and I make a technical error, um, which was that
Yeah,
instance. Other than that, like I don't really get hit often, you know what I mean? So
sure.
make that adjustment and I've been working on it. And so, we just roll with it, like
Yeah,
I would say it was one of my better fights. Like I felt great in there. I felt like I was in the flow and I did the things that I needed to do. Um, and so just move on to the next one like I'm doing and
yeah,
just continue to remind people, like I said, that I'm still here and I'm still relevant and I'm still a bad motherfucker and I'm gonna hurt you. And
yeah,
that's what it is. But also changing that, like changing like the approach. It's like it's always been for like the last like 8 fights, it's like put like hurting people, right? Like put damage on them and stuff like that. But it's not about that anymore. And changing that narrative to I'm not just here to just hurt you, I'm here to dominate you.
mhm.
I'm not going in there with this mindset to just hurt you. Like I'm going in there to dominate you, to
Right.
destroy you. Like absolutely no questions asked. I beat the fuck out of you. Um, and I think just that little change in narrative will also make a huge difference as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. That you answered that question. I was gonna ask you. You made a comment on Instagram in one of your posts recently. You said you wanted to right your wrongs. I was gonna ask you, Nate, what were those wrongs? And you just gave me a perfect answer right there. And when you can realize and really accept that kind of stuff, like obviously you said in the Damian Nelson fight you got away with the mishap. In this fight, obviously you said perfect example. The inches got smaller and it's not something that you're able to get away from. So, maybe if you got out of it this fight too, and like kind of the same situation as Damien, you would have never been able to actually hone in on this and fix it, and then it could have happened at even a bigger stage and that would have hurt probably even worse. So it's all
Right.
building blocks, man. And I'm glad that you're able to pick up on it, respect where you went wrong. And I'm sure, what 4 weeks going into this fight, if you were to spar someone and that same exact, situation happened, I'm sure your approach, your defense would be a little bit different now.
Yeah, it's just it, dude. It's not like again, if I got it blown out of the water, we'd be sitting here having the different conversation. Like it wasn't that. I mean,
Right.
um, a lot of people were saying like, oh, it was like a lucky punch that got you, and it's like I don't know. I don't believe in luck. And I think that it wasn't like yeah. I mean, I don't. It's not like he didn't set me up. He wasn't like, oh, look at this. Like I'm gonna jab low or like feint and like do this. It wasn't. I was like literally let
Right.
me close my eyes and swing. But it was my mistake that I made. I
Exactly.
made the mistake of keeping my head in that on the center line and keeping it in no man's land. That's my responsibility. So don't give that motherfucker credit because he didn't do anything. He
Right.
laid trade and it paid off for him, but on my own mistake that I made. Like he didn't succeed because of him. He succeeded because I fucked up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't any different. You know what I mean? And it's like I know 9 times out of 10 I fucking beat that kid. I was a
I was
way
gonna
better
ask you about
fighter.
that.
I am a better fighter. Like there's no question.
Yeah.
Like I don't look at it and go like, oh man, like I just wasn't that good. It was like, no, dude, I'm better than you, and you
Yeah.
fucking know. And
Yeah.
you know goddamn well you probably went to bed feeling really good about yourself, but knowing deep down inside that you are not that good. And if you fought me again, if I get, oh my God, I will fucking kill that kid. Not even, no question about it. Like
I was
whatever the plan was before, fuck all that. Like I would kill him. There's no question about it. I'm better than him. I will always be better than him. I will go farther than him. There's no question about that. And like I said, my mistake, I've learned and I'm going to get better and I'll do the same to this kid and finish him. That's it. They're going to go in there and do exactly what I did last time, but this time, no mistakes. And that's righting my wrongs, just fixing the mistakes that I make. Like I'm not going to give that kid credit for that. Like there's no honor in the way that he approached that second round anyway. There's a coward's way out, and I'm gonna get better from this, and I already feel like I have. So
Yeah. That's it, man. I like it, man. the way that you think, the way you go about things, always I love it, man. It's just the mindset, the Nate Ghareeb way. And I was gonna ask you this. You touched on it. Let's talk about it just a little bit more. But you said it a little bit ago, knocking on that door for what, 2 years, and then unfortunately get caught in that last fight. But how do we build ourselves back up? How does Nate Ghareeb get to the same position that he was in, coming into that Douglas fight and, putting yourself right back in that position? How do we do that?
I mean, I don't think I'd reached out to Coach Mike and had asked him about what he thinks I could do better, and he'd said he's like you're doing the right stuff, you're working on new things, you're getting better.
Right.
It's not some crazy like monumental change. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I
Maybe a
said, like
couple wins, something. Yeah.
yeah, like I said, like I just want to get back in there and fight again,
Yeah.
and I don't want to waste any more time for potential this, potential that. Like this could happen, this could happen. Fuck that. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna sign to fight whoever's ready to take a fight, and I'm gonna do what I've always done. I'm gonna beat people up. I'm gonna go in there and look to finish them. I'm gonna get better at finishing them. Like there are some things also that I've taken into consideration about better ways to like when you hurt somebody, because I had the kid hurt earlier and I just took too much time, because it's like you never want to like, it's like people say like you don't want to corner a wild animal, right? Like if an animal's hurt or wounded, it's like you want to be careful around it because it becomes more dangerous. Human
Right.
beings are no fucking different. Like if a human being, like they become more dangerous because they're almost at that point where it's like I have nothing to lose. Like I'm backed into a corner, I have to throw. So I think it's just being like a little bit smarter with aggressive defense.
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing, is like you hurt somebody. Like I knew he was hurt, but it was like I played it too cautiously. Like
Sure.
be aggressive with defensive responsibility, get the angles, create the openings, get your controls, and then add the necessary volume to put that person away
Yeah.
sooner. um I don't I, you know what I mean? Like I just think like, if to answer your question though, I know I kind of go
Yeah.
my roundabout way. The best thing I think for me to do is just stay active, keep getting fights, keep showing up, keep beating people up, and it's gonna come.
Yeah.
Whatever bigger promotion is interested in me. Like at this point, like I'm ready for whatever. So, and it's just more experience, man. It's just more time to
That's
build
it.
your and get more comfortable in there. Like I said, that was probably the most comfortable I've ever felt in a fight. And it's not that I don't usually feel comfortable. I just felt like clear, man.
Natural. Yeah.
I just felt me, for the
Yeah.
first time. Like there are some times where I'm like a little bit more hesitant and playing a little safe. Like this time I felt alive. And that's kind of like what I've always wanted, is to be able to like express myself in martial arts, like to the best of my ability, just being who I am. And I feel like I got that all the way through to the point where until it was over.
Yeah.
I was until I wasn't. And so just make some adjustments, fine tune some details, and continue to get better,
Of
continue to
course.
improve, show up a better version of me every time. And just, I do believe I can feel it, that my time will come. It's just,
Of
it'll
course.
obviously be a little bit later than I would have liked,
Yeah.
but it's okay. These things happen, and this is just what God or the universe had planned for me. And so I will take it as it is, and I will continue to be myself and showcase my skills on people.
That's it. Well, here we are. What was that May fight? Was probably what, 2.5 months ago ish now, speaking on it. The way that
Two
you've been, right?
two months from tomorrow. 2 months from
Yeah, 2 months from tomorrow. For you to be here speaking about it, having, the mindset that you do now, accepting the way that things went wrong and bettering yourself from them. Like even the fact that you're able to sit here right now and just talk about it, well being in fight camp, lined up for a fight, like, dude, it's impressive, man. It's impressive because I feel like a lot of fighters, they might have taken some time off, sat back, like like we talked about earlier, and waited for other opportunities. But for you, be here talking to me, less than 2 months after the fact, while you're already in a fight camp for another fight that's happening in 4 weeks from today, like, much respect, bro. The turnaround that you're having here is it's impressive. And I think you're doing all the right things, of course. Now, training at ATT, I want to talk to you about that too. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. All these good people around you supporting you, kind of helping guide you. Talk to me about this Florida lifestyle that you've been living lately, man. I know obviously you've been out there for a while, but I feel like now you're really settled in. Look, you got some new pets behind you, which is cool. Building a little family out there and really just, growing into Florida, man. How's everything been out there?
Things have been good, man. I mean, it's obviously very hot and very humid,
Yeah.
but it's good, man. It's good to be back here. I like it here. It's good, like it's nice to be like the other day we just went out to the beach and just relaxed and no, it's good, man. Like I'm surrounded by great people and great minds and teammates and coaches, so it's like it's not like I don't feel like there's a whole lot that I have to like worry about,
Yeah.
like I'm in the right place. Like I moved out here for a reason. And I always feel like I'm getting better, and it's like when you're constantly testing yourself against the best people. We've talked about this multiple times. It's like you get to see where you're at, you get to see what you can work on. I've already been back in the last like 3 weeks, 2, 3 weeks. Like I've been learning, I've been making adjustments and rounding out my game. And that's really what I want. I just want to keep continuously getting better. And I'm in an environment that forces you to do that. Like I would say like you don't know what you don't know. And I feel like when you're around the people who are getting ready for UFC fights and you see champions and successful competitors every single day, I mean, you can take a look at like what they're doing, see how they're approaching it, and then you can try to add some of the things that they're doing. If it works for you, take it. If it doesn't, move on. But it's just like it's a great place for learning. Like that's always been my approach to martial arts, I guess, is just consistently learning and improving and just making adjustments to my lifestyle, my training and my recovery and everything that I can. And so it's been great, man. I mean, yeah, we got a lizard. I got a Rankin's dragon in February, and never thought I would be a lizard person.
Hmm.
And then we went on and found they got like the place that we go, Cold Blooded Kingdom in Deerfield Beach. They had a bunch of Uromastics that came out, and so then we got one of those.
Wow.
I got back from the Ultimate Fighter, and then I saw there's these red bearded dragons. Now these things are fucking I always wanted a bearded dragon because
Yeah,
like the
me too, bro.
dragons,
Those things are dope.
you should get one
Yeah.
because they're really cool. They're just super interesting. It's like it's
Hmm.
not like a dog and cat. I love dogs. I'm a dog guy. I've
Me
always loved
too.
dogs. Always had dogs. Cats have always been I'm always a little bit like
Yeah.
that with cats. I had some bad experiences with cats. I have an arch enemy back home, Dexter,
Okay.
and we always go to war. So, but this bearded dragon is really cool because it's like you can see that they're kind of calculating all the time. They're very interesting. They'll do like weird, goofy shit. Like they're kind of derpy, like they're
Hmm.
lizards. So it's like, but they're also kind of smart, So it's like just being able to like, I like to observe them. Like I'll sit there and just like I can just sit there and watch them. I
Yeah.
just never thought I'd enjoy like having a lizard. But then like I said, sorry, we got this red bearded dragon. So it's like a bright red bearded dragon, and he's gonna be the biggest one out of the three. The Uromastics will be pretty big, and the Rankin's dragon's like he's not very big. He won't
Uh-huh.
get very, but really excited because we got the bearded dragon like right before I got back. My wife went into the pet shop and saw that they had just gotten some in, and so it was like I sent her money. I was like, yo,
Get one.
get one of them because like they went like that.
Really?
Like they're hard to get. They're really hard
Yeah.
to get.
I've
So it's
never
like
seen a red one. I always saw like the normal tan ones. I've never seen a red one
let
though.
me see if I'll pull him out real
All
quick.
right.
He's kind of shy.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's small. All right, buddy. Come out for a little bit. He's small. He's the smallest one right now, but he'll be the biggest one.
Damn. Oh yeah, I think I saw him on your story actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He's
dude, the red ones are cool because you always see the brownish tan ones, of course, the no regular colored ones. But man, That's awesome, dude. That's cool. How they got to be a more rare kind of bearded dragon, no?
Yeah, there's like a specific breeder somewhere in South Florida that uh they're called slow. I think it's Slow Flow Dragons on Instagram. Like you should see him. Like his parents are fucking huge. They're
I
like
believe it.
in the hand of his palm or in his
Yeah.
palm. Um, but I'm hoping he looks kind of like in the clutch. He was very like that's what they call like the group is the clutch, and he
Uh-huh.
was smallest one.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that he won't be like the
Mm.
runt. You
Right.
know, it is what it is. We've already got the Rankins is a little bit small anyway, but he's also terrified of the Rankins. The Rankins is like did not like when we brought home the Aromastics and did not.
Uh,
He was like bobbing at him and like trying to get him to like submit to him, and he's just like he just sits up in his corner now. He's gets kind
yeah.
of scared. So
Hopefully he'll grow a little bit and then he'll have some beef on
yeah.
him.
Well, that's the thing is like if he grows to his full size, he'll be
Huge.
3 or 4 times bigger than the Rankins, and
Yeah.
at that point, he's kind of
The king.
sized to become the king.
Yeah. You keep them all separately though? Or do they
Have to,
you
yeah,
have
they're
to,
all
right?
males.
Yeah.
The Rankins was the first, so I think he's very territorial,
Hmm.
and so he's not like he was not very happy when we brought them home because obviously as males, it's like if there was a female, then they would be competing to for mates and stuff. We don't have females, and for that exact reason, they didn't want like the pheromones like spreading
Yeah.
everywhere, going fucking nuts. But
Yeah.
yeah, they have to stay in their own separate tanks. The Urmastix is like he's different, man. He doesn't even pay attention to the other two. Like
Wow.
he's like in his own world. Like
Yeah.
he'll in the morning he's sleeping now because in the mornings he'll wake up and he's just zooming around, like run,
Damn.
climbing walls and fucking doing backflips and falling off shit. So we take him out in the morning for
Hmm.
25 minutes. He runs on the rug, runs on the wall, glass serves, and then we put him back in, out cold for the rest of the day.
Damn.
So 12 till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, he'll be asleep in his little corner. And they're these two, the Rankins will sit outside and just chill. And he doesn't want to come down because the Rankins Gambit was like fucking bobbing at him at his
Uh-huh.
glass and grabbing. He was like, I don't want to be around that
Yeah.
guy. So
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah, they're very territorial.
Yeah.
But they're cool, man. They're really interesting creatures to have,
Yeah.
and definitely bring me peace.
That's good, man. Glad to hear it. That's a cool animal, dude. All the lizards are super cool. I've always, like I said, I've always like wanted a bearded dragon. I remember when I was like 12 years old, bro. I was on like Facebook Marketplace talking to all these breeders from Connecticut trying to find one, and I never did, but maybe, sometime soon. I hope I get one because I know it doesn't take up too much space. It's you, especially if you have one. I know you have three, obviously, but if you have one, you get how many gallons do they normally need? Like maybe 10 or 20 to
Yeah.
start?
Well, the Rankins Dragons in a 40-gallon tank. Well, they're all in 40-gallon tanks.
Okay.
Um, basically, the bearded dragon will need to get into a bigger one. Like I think a 70-gallon tank is like
Yeah.
generally where he want to be when he's bigger. Like right now, he's pretty small, so
Yeah. Doesn't
uh,
matter now. Yeah.
it doesn't matter now. But when he gets bigger, he'll need to be put in a bigger one. The Aromastics, same thing. He'll get a little bit bigger, like not a little bit bigger. He'll get pretty big too. He'll
Yeah.
be just a little bit smaller than this guy.
Hmm.
But the Rankins Dragons won't grow anymore. So he's good where he's at.
Yeah.
The Masick should be fine in a 40-gallon. But it's really it's actually like it doesn't take up I mean like it literally I had a desk over there before. Now it's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
tank
That's
tank on the left,
yeah.
top, bottom. So they take up a
Yeah.
lot of space now.
Yeah, of course. I have a nice dresser I could probably throw a nice big tank on, so that might work out, man. And if it does, I'll
Yeah,
be sure to let you know. I got a new
yeah, let me
dog
know, man.
coming in on Thursday, so
Yeah.
first we got to take care of her.
Congrats on that as well.
Appreciate it, appreciate it, my man.
Sorry about
Yeah.
your loss.
It's
So
life,
hard, man.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
life. One of my managers at work sent me a nice text when it happened because I had to take the day off to do the whole process. But he was like, the dog worked its whole life to bring you the family happiness. And now the dog would never want you to be upset. So now it's like your job to find the happiness without the dog. I was like, damn, that definitely put me in a better spot. And not gonna lie, like I don't not like one of those like real touchy people like with words and stuff like that. Like I'm usually pretty like straightforward, but that definitely helped me get through it and think a little bit differently, of course. Now we're ready for the next one. Me and my family did a good job taking care of her. She had a beautiful life, so now we get to do it for another dog.
Yeah.
That's how I
That's
think of it. But
yeah.
man, couple more things for you. What's the corner looking like for August 17th up in New Hampshire?
Uh, I'm not exactly sure to be honest with you right now, just
A lot of
because
fights, bro.
there's a lot of fights.
PFL, UFC, I'm, you get all these PFL fighters in the gym going crazy. I'm sure they have all these, playoffs and finals coming up.
Yeah, the same. So that weekend is CFFC Tampa. There's a nemesis, and I think it's in like Idaho, Dakota Bush, who
Oh yeah,
hopefully be getting in the UFC soon.
he's a turkey hunting guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool dude. I sparred with him today.
Wow.
He is a fight the night before, same night as the CFFC. And I believe PFL is here in Hollywood, Florida at the casino, the
Yeah.
Hard
The
Rock.
guitar. Yeah.
That will be the same night. And then I think there's one. I keep thinking there's another one. I know
There's
I got
LFA going on the early in the month, but that shouldn't affect too much.
yeah. I think I'm the only one on Saturday, unless there's zero UFC card that weekend.
To be honest, no, I don't think so. I haven't, I gotta look. I'm not sure. There's a lot of cards though, dude. I was talking to the guys over at Teixeira MMA the other day because you got Regivaldo Carvalho fighting on the CES card, and then they have a couple guys fighting on the LFA card, which is the night before in New York. So what they're doing, that team, they're gonna go corner like two guys up in New York at LFA, then wake up in the
Okay.
morning, drive back in the morning to it's like 7 hours to Foxwoods to go take care of those guys. So I know what it is. You guys, all the gyms, bro. Everybody's booked. Like this second half of 2024 is already crazy. There's so many fights, and it just so happens that for a lot of gyms, there's a lot of a lot of multiple fighters fighting.
Yeah, dude, it's really busy. So I know Tiago is going to end up going with my buddy Riley. He's fighting for CFFC,
Yep.
not Tampa, just Atlantic City,
Okay. Yeah.
City. And Mako would be a coach that I also take. It's just dependent on his son's. I think
Yeah.
Fargo this weekend for his son Peter. So
Yeah.
they're doing. I don't know if that there's like a second part of Fargo or something. So he would be the other guy. But if not, I'll end up taking Dan McIntyre. He's back in Massachusetts. He was like my striking coach before I moved to ATT, and my buddy Alex Warren, who has been in my corner. Other than the LFA,
Forever.
I mean, that was my lucky buddy wasn't there with
Yeah.
me. I don't believe
Yeah.
in luck.
Yeah.
But my buddy Alex, he's usually at all my fights with me. He's always in the corner. So right now, that's the plan. We'll see. Oh shit,
Yeah.
going back there.
Yep.
But we're gonna have to see if Mako can go.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. Obviously, being so many other fighters, it gets tough, I'm sure, with the coaches and trying to have them be everywhere. There's only one of them, obviously, one of each of them, and it's hard to be everywhere at once. And like I said a minute ago, it's just so crazy how many fights are going on, and just probably like honestly, August, September alone, like just so many fights. The PFL's got a lot of fights, UFC, all the other
Mhm.
promotions, of course, and just a busy time of the year for sure.
Yeah. This is like the time, especially for the PFL playoffs.
Yep.
Oh,
And you got a couple fighters that are deep into the tournament right now. I mean, Josh Silveira, Dakota,
Silvera,
who
Dakota,
else?
she's fighting Tennessee.
Yeah.
Michelle Montague is fighting that same night in Hollywood.
Oh, she's on the
Off of
card too.
Bellator, and then
Yeah,
I guess she's gonna fight for the PFL now. So she's
that's
like
cool.
back and forth. So
Yeah.
I don't know who else is in the tournament.
There's
Uh,
yeah, that might be it, but I still busy. This the tournament
yeah.
just, I feel like there might be one or two more, but we'll
Oh,
oh
Devlet.
yeah,
He's in there.
Yakshimuradov, bro. He's a
Yeah.
dog, bro. He is
Yeah.
he's
He's
very
good.
vicious fighter, man. He's good.
Yeah. Uh,
And then of course all the big UFC fights coming up too.
yeah. There's a bunch of guys that are I don't know what's going on with Mosar or not. I think they maybe said that he was gonna fight Aljo,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't
I thought that was rumored. I don't know
and
where that's at now though. I
I
don't
I
think
don't know though, because I don't know if like there was like back and forth about whether or not it was happening. I don't actually know if
mhm.
that's gonna happen or not. I know Moicano just got signed to
Yep.
fight
He's in the main
General
event of that
Hospital.
fight night. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
A lot of fights.
a lot of fights, dude. A
Yeah.
lot of fights.
How about, I don't know if it changed at all, but who's going to be preparing you the most? Who are you going to be working with the most for this upcoming fight at ATT?
So I mean, so far, it's a lot of I've been working with Tiago, Mako, Mike,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do some boxing with Gabriel tonight,
there you
actually.
go. The Oliveira.
Sorry, what are you doing, dude? Um, and so those are like the four coaches that I typically work with. I've been working with Artem
Oh
Levin
yeah,
as well.
there you go.
I take his class on Wednesdays and Fridays, and he like just learning like that Soviet style of like kickboxing and boxing
Yeah,
is just it's good. It's kind of similar to the style that I like, and then also obviously like working with Tiago always like I worked in last night and just helping me fine tune some of the details that some of the holes that I had and just making me work through those positions and processes. So um and I worked with Mako twice last week. I think he's gone this week, but
yeah.
after that I'll be working with him like twice a week, and then Mike, as always, Mike took his class yesterday, take his class tomorrow, take his class Thursday night. I yeah, I got great coaches around me,
Yeah.
great teammates, great coaches. Um, and yeah, man, just fine tuning some details is
That's
all.
it. That's it, bro. I like it, man. Well, last question of the interview for you, Nate. I know you love answering this question, but when you step into the cage on August 17th inside the Southern New Hampshire University, the arena at the Southern New Hampshire University, what can the fans expect from you? I know you want to get the victory here. You seem to be very excited to get back in there and really, like you said, right your wrong. So what can they expect from you on August 17th?
Well, I mean, I think if you've seen my fights, I'm always bringing as much entertainment as I can. Just being as like calculated, but also calculated, violent, but also like a little bit more of a wild card. You're not really sure what you're going to get with me.
Right.
I think I need to like after having the experience that I had in my last fight, it's like if anything, I feel more free because I'm like, dude, it's like that's the worst thing that can happen. Like,
Yeah, you
fuck it, you
experienced
know.
it.
So it's
Yeah.
like that's like if anything, it just gives me more freedom to be me and go out there and just kind of showcase more skills. Like be free to express yourself in a more. Because I still have a lot of tools I have yet to like show
Yeah.
on people, and I think this is a great guy to do that. Like at the end of the day, like I love being one of the guys known for being an entertaining fighter and bringing the type of fight that people like. It makes the crowd go fucking crazy. Like I like that. Like I feel you son of a bitch. You just
What
shit on the
happened?
bastard. Ah, you bastard. These things happen.
Yeah. Lizard
Uh,
things.
Blizzard things. Shit. Again on the couch. Um, yeah, sorry about that.
No big deal.
But yeah, man, I think it just people I think everybody knows when they see this matchup, like people are excited about it. They know that it's gonna be a fucking barn burner of a
Yeah.
fight. But I just think that I'm better and I think that I'm gonna be more calculated and more creative than he is. And I think that I have more of that dog in me when I need it. Like it seems like he's got some moments where it starts getting a little tough and he starts to kind of wilt. Where I'm not like that. We
Right.
said like that kid had to fucking that kid had to like really like put my lights out in order to like and I didn't even go down. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I
I just got
know,
like
bro.
out folded, like I'm
Yeah.
fucking eating shots with my fucking face. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of fight you know what you're gonna get into. And if you ain't got that fucking freak power and you're not bringing that type of violence, like it's gonna be a rough night for you, buddy. So yeah, the
That's
human
it.
barbed wire fence is coming back, and we're gonna shred this dude up, put him in the wood chipper, and go home getting that scalp. Number 10, baby. That's what it is.
That's
Get
it.
scalp, 10th win, and just remind everybody who the fuck I am.
That's it, man. Of course, every win is special, but I think that number 10, the double digits is gonna feel extra special, man. That's probably something that you're looking forward to. I know a lot of fighters when they get that 10th win, it's just damn, the double digits now.
Yeah,
That's
it's time, dude. It's
that's it.
time.
Well, Nate, I appreciate the time. It's always a blast interviewing you, man. I love the way that you're able to make that turnaround from May. Now here we are in July and getting ready for August, dude. Props to you, bro, and thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.